Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Brain Foods, the educational cooking show where we feed not only your body, but also your mind. And today we're talking about trees. Trees are amazing. They grow all over our planet and we have so many different kinds of trees all over. And today I'm going to show you how to make a cake that has rings in it just like a tree has. So let's get started on that. If you've ever seen a tree that's been cut down or something, or even like a cross section of a tree, you'll see those rings inside of it. And what that is as the tree ages, it grows and expands. But in the winter time, it stops growing. And so it forms a ring. So every year that it grows, it leaves a ring. So you can actually tell how old a tree is by counting the number of rings in the tree. And so today we're going to be making a cake that has those same kinds of rings in it. And so the things you'll need to make a tree ring cake is 1 box of yellow cake, 1 box of chocolate cake, and I'm just using the box kind here. You can use whatever recipe you want, but you need both of them. You need a yellow cake and a chocolate one. You can't just do yellow. You have to have both. And I'm just going to follow the recipes that's on the back of these boxes. And it calls for, both of these call for 3 eggs each, 1/3 of a cup of oil, vegetable oil, which I have here, and 1 cup of water for each box. So I've got my water, my oil, and my eggs. I've also got 2 circular cake pans. They're stacked together like this, and this is what my eggs are in. You can see my 6 eggs. And I also have 2 scoops. These are kind of like ice cream scoops. What they are is actually cookie dishers. You can dish out little cookies and make sure the cookies are even. This is important. You can use a spoon or you can use whatever you have, but you're going to need something to spoon out the cake batter. You can't just pour the cake batter, so we need these. So I've got 2 of those, 1 for the chocolate and 1 for the yellow cake. And then I've also got my electric mixer here, and you can mix them by hand or whatever. This is just to mix the cake batters. I've got a spatula, and the spatula is going to be for putting on the frosting, and I've got chocolate frosting. You want something that's going to look like bark because we're going to put it on the outside. But since we're only going to be putting it on the outside of the cake, you don't need a whole lot, and I'm just going to use a spatula to put it on there. You can use a piping bag, but because bark is not even, I'm just going to use a spatula so I can make sure it's nice and rough and even. Bark on a tree is never even. It's always kind of bumpy and rough, so I'm just going to use the spatula. You will also need 2 large mixing bowls to mix your cake mixes in. So that's everything that you need. Let's get started on making it. Alright, I'm going to start with my yellow cake first. Open up the package here. Alright, pour the yellow cake mix into one of your mixing bowls, 3 eggs, 1/3 of a cup of the oil, 1 cup of water. I shouldn't have worn black while mixing cake, because I'm getting the flour and stuff all over me. Oh well. Now let's just mix it up. First cake is mixed up. So let's set that off to the side. Okay, and now that our 2 cake batters are done, this is going to be kind of the tricky part. It just takes a little technique. We're going to take one of our scoops and we're going to scoop out a little bit of the yellow cake, and we're going to just put that right in the center of the pan. And then you're going to use the other scoop and you're going to scoop out a little bit of the chocolate and put that right in the center of the pan. And you're just going to continue to alternate the 2 until the cake pan is about 3/4 of the way full, and then we're going to bake it. And while you're at it, you also need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And if you know how to make a zebra cake, this is the same thing that you're doing to make a zebra cake. And when you slice it, it'll have the zebra stripes. But we're going to slice the top of it so you see all the rings in the cake. Okay. Tap it out, tap it down, even it out. Alright, here are the cakes. Now we're going to put them in the oven and bake for about 35 minutes. Now while that's baking, I want to talk a little bit about trees and how they grow. Now when trees grow, they not only grow taller as they get older, but they also grow wider. And what happens is these trees grow wider and they form rings because in the winter time they stop growing, and that forms a ring. And each year they form a new ring and a new ring and a new ring. And so we can actually tell how old a tree is by counting the number of rings. And when scientists are studying the tree rings, that is called dendrochronology, which is a long word. But that basically means that, let's say there's something wrong with the tree and you see a black line around one of the rings. Well, that meant something happened in the environment of that tree during that time period that we need to study and learn more about. And so scientists will take and study what happened in that time period, but you can actually count the number of rings and see how far back it happened. So it happened a few years ago or a few centuries ago, since some trees live for thousands and thousands of years. And so that's a little bit about how trees grow and what the tree rings inside the tree mean. Okay guys, our cake is done baking and I let it cool for a while, and now I'm going to cut the top of it so we can see the rings inside of it. So to do that, I'm going to take my 2 cake pans I've washed out after I baked the cake. I'm going to use these to guide my knife so that way my cut across the top is nice and even. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to lay the knife flat on one of these cake pans, and I'm going to just gently run my knife through the cake. Alright, and here is what our cake looked like after we cut the top of it off, and see how it has the rings just like a tree. If you look at a tree when you cut it down, it's got rings just like this, and you can actually count the rings and see how old our cake is. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 years old. That's how old our cake is. Not really, because otherwise I wouldn't be eating it. Now we're going to frost the cake, and to do that we're going to take our chocolate frosting and a spatula, and we're just going to roughly put it around the edge. You don't want to put it on top or else you'll cover up the rings. So you want to make sure to put it just around the edges of the cake. So I'm going to do that now. Alright guys, as you can see, I got done frosting. We just put a thin coat of frosting around the outside, and it doesn't matter if it's not perfect because bark is not perfect. It's kind of rough and everything. And if you've got like green fondant or anything like that, you can make little leaves or little twigs and stuff and put around it. I didn't have all that, so I'm just sticking with the tree ring cake right here. And so that's the cake. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you learned a little bit about trees while you were watching it. And if you come back next week, I'll have a new video that's going to be a little bit of learning and a little bit of cooking mixed together. We're going to feed your brain and your body at the same time. And if you guys want to make this cake, maybe it'll look a little bit prettier than mine, that's fine. Take a picture of it, send it to me. You can send it through Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, all those social media. I'll put links in the description below to all of my social media. You can send it to me, and if you send me these pictures, I can put them on my outro, so you'll actually see your picture of the things that you made on my outro screen whenever the video is over with. And make sure to hit that big red subscribe button down below. Also like and share this video with everyone you know, people who love to learn and love to cook, all of that together. This is the type of show for them. So be sure to share it with everyone you know. Anyway, hope to see you guys next week. Bye-bye.